This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so see now, today's topic is the round robin. Okay, this is your fourth CPU scheduling algorithms, and see its mode and criteria. It always works in preemptive mode. Okay, there is no non-preemptive mode for this CPU scheduling algorithm, round robin, and its criteria is time quantum. Okay, this is a new term here, time quantum. See what is this one? Okay, this is a fixed interval of time for which every process gets chance to execute. Okay, operating system selects this time quantum. Okay, and for a fixed interval, every process will get chance to execute. Okay, so there are 10 processes in the system, and time quantum has been set to 5 units. Okay, then for this the process P0 is first process and P9 is the 10th process. Then the process P0 will execute for 5 units, 5 times. Okay, after this P1 will get chance to run for 5 units of time. Okay, and in this way the last process P9 will get chance for running 5 units. After this the again turn off P0 will be there. Okay, so in this way there is a cycle of running in this round robin. Okay, see, this is the definition. In round robin, every process is allocated CPU turn-wise according to the time quantum. Okay, so this round robin never suffers from starvation. Okay, you have seen in the previous algorithms, SGF and SRTF, they were suffering from starvation. That was major problem for those algorithms. But in round robin, every process will get time to execute, so no one will suffer from the starvation, right? See here in round robin, every process in ready queue executes turn by turn in a cyclic queue for the fixed time quantum. Okay, so to implement round robin, you use a cyclic queue. Okay, you have studied a queue concept in data structure in previous semester. In third semester, you have studied data structure. There you must have studied this queue also. Okay, so in a cyclic queue, this round robin is used. Okay, this round robin is implemented using cyclic queue. Now let us see example of our round robin. This is a particular snapshot of processes at a time. Okay, there are 5 number of processes in the system, and these are the arrival times. Okay, from 0 to 4, they are in sequence. Every process has it is in sequence. Okay, and their running time is given also. Okay, 7, 3, 1, 2, 4. Okay, can you see this? Can you see the display clearly? Just
yes, sir.
hello. Okay, so now let us calculate all parameters for this waiting time, turnaround time, and response time. So here time quantum is 2 units. See here, operating system has set time quantum for 2 units. So every process will get chance to execute for only 2 units of time. Okay. Now this is the Gantt chart for this round robin algorithm. Okay. This is the ready queue which is maintained in main memory. Okay, it has been also shown in the slide. Now which process will arrive at time 0? See here, arrival time of P0 is 0. Okay, so at time 0, process P0 will arrive in ready queue. Okay, so CPU has no option to select anyone. It will directly pick up process P0. Okay, see Gantt chart here, from 0, P0 is scheduled. Okay, and for how many units now it will run? It will run for the time quantum given here. Okay, see the definition. Every process will run turn-wise according to the time quantum. So time quantum is 2 units here. So P0 process will run now for 2 units. So 0 to 2, this will be executed. Now during this time 0 to 2, 2 more processes should have been arrived. That is P1. See in the table, P1 arrival time is 1 and P2 arrival time is 2. So in ready queue, see here, P1 and P2 will arrive. Okay, and now since P0 has run for 2 units, so its arrival time, remaining running time is 5. I have displayed it here. Okay, see 7 has been cut and 5 is displayed. So this is the remaining time for P0. Okay, and now since P0 is not completely finished, I have marked it in green color. Okay, I have crossed it in green color. Okay, when the process will be completely finished, I will cross it in a red color. Okay, this is the difference between colors. Okay, now see, when the process P0 is not finished, what will happen? This process will go to the rear end of the queue. Okay, this is the queue, and process P0 will be added back to the rear end. So P0 will remove from the front end. Okay, deletion take place always in front end in the queue, and addition always take place at the rear end. This is the concept of a queue. First in, first out rule will be followed. Okay, queue follows the rule of first in, first out. Okay, whereas stack follows the rule of last in, first out. So in queue, see here, P0 will be appended at the rear end. Now CPU will pick up next process from the queue. Okay, that is from the front end. P1 will be scheduled. Okay, now P1 will again run for 2 units. So 2 to 4 here. Okay. After this, till time 4, 2 more processes should have been arrived. That is P3 and P4. Okay. So see in ready queue, at time 3, P3 is arrived, and at 4, P4 is arrived. Okay, so all the processes have been arrived in the ready queue. Now you have to schedule all these according to their time quantum. Now next process, the process P1 has done for only 2 units, so its remaining time is 1 here. So see here, the remaining time is 1 for P1 now. Okay. Now I have marked it in green also here, okay, because it is not completely finished. Now it will be again appended to the rear end. See, this is appended here now. Okay, जैसे देखो प्रोसेस आपकी फिनिश अगर completely फिनिश नहीं है तो वो वहां से पीक के कहाँ ऐड होगी rear end पे. Okay, this is how do you maintain the ready queue in round robin. Now next process which is the next process P2. Okay, so P2 will be scheduled now, and since see its watch time is 1, okay, which is less than time quantum, so it will be completely executed. Okay, so it will be finished here 4 to 5, and now P2 will be completely finished. So see here its remaining time is 0. Since its remaining time is 0, so I have marked it in red color now because it is completely finished. Okay, it will not be appended back to the rear end. Okay, in this table, let me cross this also. Okay, so P2 is now finished. Only 4 processes are in the ready queue now: P0, P3, P4, and P1. So next process which will be scheduled is P0. Okay, P0 will be scheduled now for how many units again? According to the time quantum 2. Okay, so 5 to 7, right? And see here, remaining time is now 3. Okay, now again, since it is not completely finished, I will mark it in green color. Okay, and then it will be again appended back to the rear end. See here, it is appended back to the rear end. Okay, in this way, your ready queue will be updated every time. See, now next process is scheduled here, P3. Once again, P3 will be scheduled. See here. Okay, and for how many time? Again, according to the time quantum. Okay, now it will be scheduled for 7 to 9, right? And since the worst time of P3 is 2, so it will be also completely finished. Okay, so remaining time is 0, so I will mark it now in red color. See ready queue, it is finished. Also in table, this is finished. Okay, so now only 4 processes are in the ready queue: P4, P1, and P0. Okay, next process will be scheduled P4 again according to the time quantum. Okay, so worst time or running time of P4 is 4. Okay, so it will be scheduled for only 2 units, 9 to 11, and the remaining time is 2. Okay, and now I will mark it again with the green color since it is not completely finished. Okay, and it will be again appended back to the rear end. See here, it is added to the rear end. Now next process is again picked up, that is P1. Okay, see in the Gantt chart, for how many units? 2 units. Okay, and remaining time of P1 was 1. Okay, so it will run only for 1 unit, 11 to 12. Okay, and now since it is completely finished, see here, time is 0. Okay, now I will mark it with the red cross because it is completely finished now. Again in the table, this is finished. Okay, now 2 processes are in the ready queue, P0 and P4. Okay, so next process is P0 to be scheduled. P0 will be picked up. Okay, and it will again run for time quantum 2 units, so 12 plus 2, 14. Okay, so see here P0, its remaining time will be now 1 only. Okay, it is not completely finished again, so it is marked in green color here. Okay, and it will be added back to the rear end here. Okay, now next process is P4. Sorry, it is scheduled for 2 units. Okay, since its running time, remaining running time is 2, so it will be scheduled for 2 units, that is 16. Okay, now it will be completely finished, right? And see here, running time is now 0. So it will be marked with the red color in the ready queue. Also in the table, this is crossed. Okay, so see all P1, P2, P3, P4 are finished. Now only single process is remaining in the table in the queue, that is P0. Okay, so this will be picked up last time P0, and since its remaining time is 1, it will run for 1 unit 17. Okay, and it is completely finished now. Okay, so it will also be removed from the ready queue. So it is also marked in red here on the table. So all the processes have been finished like this in the round robin. Okay, have you got it? समझाया सभी को?
Yes, sir.
So in this way you will maintain the ready queue. Okay, जो process finish नहीं होगी उसको आप कहाँ add करोगे? Rear end में, है ना? ठीक है, और according to the time quantum every process will be scheduled. Okay. Now let us calculate waiting time for this. Okay, see the waiting time. This is for process P0. Okay, see how it is calculated. Process P0 was arrived at time 0. Okay, and it was scheduled at time 0 first time. Okay, so there is no waiting time for first scheduling. Now again, say P0 was again scheduled at time 5. Okay, and from 5 to 2, see here, the 2 more processes has been scheduled here, P1 and P2. So it has waited for 5 minus 2. That is for 3 units. Okay, so see here 5 minus 2. This is the first wait for process P0. Now again it has been scheduled here. P0 is scheduled here. Okay, so from 7 to 12 it has waited again. So 12 minus 7. Okay, see here 12 minus 7. This is also waiting time for P0. Okay, again P0 is scheduled at last. Okay, at 16th unit, and from 14 to 16 it has also waited. So 16 minus 14, see here. Okay, so this is the total waiting time for process P0. 5 minus 2, 12 minus 7, and 16 minus 4. This is the total time for waiting time for process P0. Now let us see for process P1. Okay, P1 arrived at 1. Okay, and the first scheduled at time 2. So waiting time is 2 minus 1. Okay, see here it is written 2 minus 1. And next time now it is scheduled at 11. Okay, so from 4 to 11 it must have waited for this time. So 11 minus 4. Okay, see here 11 minus 4. This is also waiting time for P1. After this the process P1 was finished. Okay, so it was never scheduled again. So this is the total waiting time for process P1 here, 2 minus 1 and 11 minus 4. Next, see for process P2. Okay, it was arrived at 2 and it was scheduled at 4 here. Okay, and since its first time for only 1 unit, it was completely finished here. Okay, and it was never scheduled again. So it has waited only for this time from 2 to 4. So 4 minus 2 is the waiting time for process P2 only. This is 4 minus 2. Okay, see process P3 now. Arrival time is 3 and it was scheduled at time 7. Okay, and it was also completely finished once it is scheduled 7 to 9. Its running time was 2. So 7 to 9. Okay, so it has only waited for 7 minus 3. Okay, it was arrived at 3 and was scheduled at 7. So 7 minus 3 is the waiting time for process P3. See now for process P4. Okay, for process P4, it has arrived at 4 unit. Okay, and it was scheduled at 9. Okay, first time it was scheduled at 9 times. So 9 minus 4 is the first waiting time. 9 minus 4 here, and next it was also scheduled again at 14th time. Okay, so from 14 to 9 here. Okay, this is 14 to 11. Okay, so this is also waiting time 14 minus 11. So this is the total waiting time for process P4, and the sum of all these waiting time is calculated now. That is total waiting time for all processes. this is equal to 32. Okay, you can see these calculations here. Okay, and average waiting time will be equal to 32 by 5. Total number of CCs are 5, so 6.4 units. So average waiting time for this scenario is 6.4 units. Okay, so now we will calculate TAT as well as response time, and again waiting time with the help of the table. So, completion time now. First of all, we calculate completion time and completion time for P0. Okay, you have to scan this Gantt chart from the right side. I have told you yesterday. So P0 is completed at 17 times. So completion time is 17. Okay, for P1 it is 12. See here, 12. For P2 it is 5. For P3 9, and for P4 it is here 16. Okay, so these are the completion times of every process. Now this is turnaround time. This is equal to completion time minus arrival time. Okay, you know this formula now. Just let us calculate first. 17 minus 0, 17, 12 minus 1, 11, 5 minus 2, 3, 9 minus 3, 6, and 16 minus 4 is 12. Okay, so these are the turnaround time for individual processes. And next is waiting time. Okay, waiting time is what? TAT minus BT. And here it is 17 minus. Okay, let me do this. Okay, you can see it clearly now. Okay, 17 minus 7 is 10. 11 minus 3 is 8. 3 minus 1, 2. 6 minus 2, 4. And 12 minus 4, 8. Okay, and you can also compare these values with the waiting time calculated through the Gantt chart. Okay, here 5 plus 3 plus 2 is 10. Here is 10. 7 plus 1 8. Here is 8. Okay, next is 2. Next is 4, and last one is 5 plus 3 8. Okay, so these are same. Okay, so this is also verified that this table is correct now. So these are the waiting time. Now total completion time is 59 by adding all these values, and total turnaround time is 49, and total waiting time is 32. Okay, this is the last parameter now, response time. Okay, you will answer about this. What is the response time for process P0? Reply the answer. Can you answer this question? What will be the response time for process P0? So
0.
0. Okay, right. Okay, it was arrived at time 0, and first time it was given from the CPU also at time 0. Okay, so response time is 0. Okay, for P1.
1.
1.
1. Okay, right. It was arrived at 2 and given first response at time 2. So 2 minus 1. For P2.
2.
2.
2. Right. For P3.
4.
4. Okay, first time response is at given 7, and it was arrived at 3. So 7 minus 3 is 4. For P4.
5.
5, right. Okay, so these are the response time of each process: 0, 1, 2, 4, and 5. Okay, so average response time will be equal to sum of all these values and divided by 5. So what is it? 5 plus 4 9 plus 2 11 plus 1 12. Okay, 12 by 5 equal to 2.4. Okay, so see, average response time is very less in case of round robin. That is only 2.4 units. Okay, and I have told you round robin is best for time sharing systems as well as interactive systems. Okay, in which response time should be very less. So average response time is 2.4 only for this snapshot. Okay, now let us see next term. Okay, yesterday somebody has asked me why we have not included here preemption time. Okay, so see, I have included in this example the preemption time also, and then that time is known as context switch. Okay, see here now what is this term context switch? Just a second. Context switch is a process whereby CPU saves the PCB of currently running process and suspends its execution. Okay, thereby restores the PCB of another process and executes it. This is known as context switch. Okay, the process of interchanging these two processes, that's P0 and P1 here. This is just first context switch in this diagram. Okay, okay, जैसे आप ये P0 अभी एग्जीक्यूशन में थी, जैसे P1 अराइव होगी इसका टाइम क्वांटम एक्सपायर होगा. ठीक है, so P0 will be released here. Okay, and P1 will be scheduled. Okay, so इसमें कितना टाइम लगेगा आपको CPU को हैंडल करने में, एक P0 प्रोसेस को सस्पेंड करने में एंड P1 को रिज्यूम करने में, उस टाइम को क्या कहते हैं आप, कंटेक्स्ट स्विच. Okay, and this is just overhead for the system. Okay, there is nothing useful in this. Okay, this is overhead. Okay, so this should be calculated separately. Okay, it should not be included either in waiting time or turnaround time. Okay, nothing or nowhere in response time. This is just overhead, so we will calculate it separately. Okay, and see this line, it saves the PCB of currently running process. Now you know what is PCB. Okay, so PCB contains every information regarding a process, so it will be stored somewhere in the register in your memory. Okay, and it will be suspended, and then again when you will resume this process, that PCB, that information relating to that process will be again resumed. Okay, that PCB will be restored. Okay, so during context switch, two tasks take place: save PCB and restore PCB of a new process. Okay, save PCB of old process and restore PCB of new process. This is context switch. Now, so let us calculate context switches in this scenario. Okay, how many context switches have taken place in here? So this is the first context switch from P0 to P1. First context switch from P1 to P2. Second context switch. Okay, so in this way you can calculate 1, 2, 3, 4 here, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, so 9 context switches has been done in this round robin process here. Okay, and now if you assume a context switch takes only 2 units. Okay, so after how many units every process will be scheduled? After how many context switches? 9 into 2. Okay, so 18 units of context switch time will be overhead for the system. Okay, this is just an example. I have taken context switch time for 2 units. Okay, it depends on the speed of your CPU. Okay, it can be any unit. So if it is 2 units and there are 9 context switches, so total context switches will take 9 into 2, 18 units. Okay, so if this is the question asked in your exam, you can calculate like this. Okay, you have context switches and then multiply that context switch time with number of context switches. Have you got it?
Yes,
so
sir.
Because what is context switch? Yes, ये आपका इस राउंड रॉबिन का लास्ट टॉपिक था. फिर हम नेक्स्ट चलते इसके advantages and disadvantages. Okay, so first of all let us see advantages. This is the first advantage: all processes gets fair time of CPU. Okay, there is no starvation here. Okay, and every process is treated fairly in the round robin. Okay, it doesn't matter whether it is a high priority process or low priority. Every process will be given equal time, that is according to their time quantum. So this is first advantage. Second is the best performance for average response time. Okay, this has been calculated in the previous slide. That was only 2.4 units. So it gives you best average response time. This is the second advantage of this RR. The third advantage is it is suitable for task sharing system and interactive processes. Okay, due to response time. Okay, ठीक है, जैसे सपोज आपके पास कोई वर्ड प्रोसेसिंग की प्रोसेस है. ठीक है, MS वर्ड आपने ओपन किया है. ठीक है, तो उसको फर्स्ट रिस्पांस मिलना चाहिए था, उसके बाद आप टाइपिंग करते रहो. CPU अपना कोई और प्रोसेस कैरी ऑन करेगा, सो दैट इज इंटरेक्टिव प्रोसेस, वर्ड प्रोसेसर। ओके, सो इन दिस वे जब तक आप टाइप करोगे CPU हो सकता है कोई और प्रोसेस एग्जीक्यूट करे, कोई प्रिंटिंग करे, किसी और प्रोसेस की प्रिंटिंग प्रोसेस एग्जीक्यूट करे। ठीक है, तो ऐसी प्रोसेसेस जो इंटरेक्टिव हो या टास्क शेयरिंग सिस्टम में हो उनके लिए राउंड रॉबिन जो है वो बेटर है। सो दिस इज थर्ड एडवांटेज। नाउ लेट अस सी डिसएडवांटेजेस ऑफ राउंड रॉबिन। Okay, its performance heavily depends upon time quantum. Okay, this is the major disadvantage of round robin. Okay, and how time quantum affects the round robin performance. See here, if time quantum is too small, context switches increases. Okay, and throughput also decreases. है ना, अगर आपका टाइम क्वांटम बहुत स्मॉल है, जैसे आप पिछले एग्जांपल में कितना था 2 यूनिट्स, okay, so it is 1 unit, then number of context switches will increase. Okay, after every 1 unit the new process should be scheduled. Okay, so उस केस में आपके context switches increase होंगे. So this is disadvantage. Okay, और अगर context switches increase होंगे, मैंने कहा context switch is just an overhead for the system, so throughput of the system will also decrease. So this happens only if time quantum is too small. Next is, see, if time quantum is too large. Okay, in this case what will happen, it tends to become FCFS. ठीक है, अगर टाइम क्वांटम बहुत लार्ज हो तो जो आपका राउंड रॉबिन है वो किसकी तरह बिहेव करेगा, जैसे आपका पहला एल्गोरिथम था FCFS, फर्स्ट कम फर्स्ट सर्व। ठीक है, ये हम देखेंगे किस तरह से, है ना। नेक्स्ट एक एग्जांपल है जहां पर हमने टाइम क्वांटम को बहुत लार्ज कंसीडर किया है। इन दिस केस यू विल सी राउंड रॉबिन विल बिहेव लाइक अ फर्स्ट कम फर्स्ट सर्व। Okay, and also if time quantum is large, average response time will increase also. Okay, so this is the disadvantage if time quantum is large. Next is priorities cannot be set for the processes. Okay, I have told you this one. Okay, every process will be scheduled according to the time quantum. Okay, whatever is the kind of process, if it is a kernel process, if it is a user process of some other category of process, they will be scheduled only according to the time quantum. So this is not good for high priority processes. Okay, for this there you will study an algorithm known as priority scheduling. Okay, in this that algorithm is good for high priority processes. This is only good for user processes. So these are advantages and disadvantages of round robin. Okay, you can note on this these. Okay. Now we will see next slide where time quantum is very large. Okay, let's go to next slide. Okay, round robin when time quantum is large. You see, this is the previous example here. Okay, the same number of processes, similar arrival time and same running time. Okay, and at that time quantum was 2 units. Now in this case, see, time quantum is 5 units. Okay, so it is large than previous one. Now see its Gantt chart. Okay. You will answer this. Okay, now we have studied how round robin works. Reply, what will be the content of ready queue first, and also you will tell what is the Gantt chart now. तो जल्दी से रेडी क्यू में सबसे पहले कौन सी प्रोसेस अराइव होगी?
P0.
Okay, right, P0. Okay, so it will be scheduled now, and for how many units?
5 units.
5.
5 units. Okay, so see here P0 is scheduled for 5 units. Okay, until then all the processes must be arrived. Okay, process P1, P2, P3 and P4 all should have been arrived in the ready queue, right? So here P1, P2, P3 and P4. Okay, during its execution they should have been arrived. Now tell me which process will be scheduled?
P1.
P1. Okay, and P0 will be appended back to the rear end because it's there must be some remaining time. See here, remaining time is 2. Okay, so P0 is marked with the red cross here, and it is appended back to the P0. Okay, now it will behave like a FCFS. Now you can see here, every process will be scheduled now according to their arrival time. See, P1 got arrived at 1. Okay, so it will be scheduled first. Then P2 will be scheduled, P3 will be scheduled, and P4 will be scheduled because there was the remaining time because their running time is very less here. Okay, and time quantum is very large. Okay, time quantum is 5 units, and every processes have running time less than this. Which is now is looking like a FCFS. Okay, see here, P1 be scheduled for 3 units for 8. Now P2 will be scheduled for, okay, so let me mark this one crossed. So this is finished now. P2 is next process. P2 is scheduled, okay, for 1 unit 9. Okay, so its meaning time is 0. So it is also finished here. Okay, in PDQ it is also finished. Next is P3. P3 will be scheduled for 2 units 9 to 11. Okay, so you can see this is just like FCFS. Okay, in FCFS you also do like this. The process which arrived first will be scheduled and that will be finished. So all the processes are getting during their execution. So this is all happening due to the last time quantum. So this is disadvantage of our round robin. If you set time quantum last, it behaves like a FCFS algorithm. Next process is now you can see this. Okay, P4 is this is hello. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sorry, sorry, there was some network problem. Okay, so you have seen this one. Okay, here next process P4 will be scheduled and it will run for 4 units. So 11 plus 4 here, 15. Okay, so it will be now completely finished. So see here, remaining time is 0. So it is finished in the ready queue also. Okay, and in the table it is also marked red. Next process is P0. Okay, this was your initial process. This is the first one process. Okay, it has some running time remaining. Okay, so it is scheduled to get the last here now. 15 minus to 17. Okay, so approximately it is behaving like a time quantum. Okay, अगर time quantum यहाँ पर 7 units होता तो ये तो completely आपका किस तरह से लगता आपको जैसे कि आपका FCFS था. अगर time quantum 7 units होता है ना, तो सबसे पहले आपकी P0 प्रोसेस भी कंप्लीट हो चुकी है होती है यहाँ पर 0 to 7. उसके बाद आपकी P1 प्रोसेस होती है, फिर P2, P3 और फिर P4. Okay, so this behaves like a FCFS. Okay, so now
एक क्वेश्चन है
वेटिंग टाइम. हाँ जी बोलो.
सर, जब आपने टोटल क्वांटम टाइम 5 यूनिट्स लिया है तो हर एक प्रोसेस को 5 यूनिट्स मिल रहे हैं, तो जब हमने यहाँ पे मतलब 5 to 8 लिया है यहाँ पे तो हर एक को 5 मिल रहा है, तो बाकी तो वेस्ट हो रहा है, मतलब हर
नहीं
एक
वेस्ट नहीं होता
प्रोसेस
ये क्वेश्चन. हाँ नहीं ठीक है, ठीक क्वेश्चन आपने ठीक किया. लेकिन P1 अगर देखो किसी का कम है, ठीक है, अगर 3 यूनिट्स है तो उतने टाइम रन करेगी वो, तो 2 यूनिट्स वेस्ट नहीं जाएंगे. देखो 8 की इमीडिएट अगर 8 के बाद गैप रहता है यहाँ पर, सिर्फ 5 to 5 अगर 10 ही रन होता और P1 सिर्फ 3 यूनिट्स के लिए रन होती, तब 2 यूनिट्स की वेस्टेज होती है ना. तो 8 के बाद इसने जस्ट कौन सा पिक कर लिया था P2. सो देयर इज नो वेस्टेज हियर. समझिए
मतलब
वेस्टेज.
वो 5 मैक्सिमम लिमिट है.
हाँ 5 मैक्सिमम है. ठीक है, अगर किसी का वर्स्ट टाइम कम है तो वो उतने टाइम में कंप्लीट होगी और सीपीयू उसको रिलीज कर देगा और नेक्स्ट प्रोसेस को पिक करेगा, तो टाइम वेस्टेज नहीं. ओके, समझाया सभी.
यस सर.
ठीक है, सो नाउ this is the waiting time. Okay, I will not calculate it. You can see this. Okay, you can take snapshot and you will find it. This will be equal to 6.6 units. Okay, and these are the completion time. Okay, we will also not calculate this one. We have calculated. Okay, we will just see response time will also increase here. Okay, this is the response time. Okay, we will see only response time. Okay, now tell me what will be the response time for process P0. Here it is 0, right? It is similar to the previous one. Now what will be the response time for process P1 in this case when time quantum is very large? Okay, what will be the time? What will be the response time? 5 minus 1, 4.
4.
Okay. And for P2 it is 8 minus 2, 6 units. Okay,
6.
and for P3 it is
6.
also 6 units, and for P4 it is 7. Okay,
7.
okay. So now if you find the average response time, this is 6 plus 4, 10, 16 and 7, 23. Okay, so 23 by 5 is equal to 4.6 units. Okay, so in this case, the average response time has increased. In the previous example, when time quantum was 2 units, at that time, average response time was 2.4 units, and here it will almost doubled. Okay, so when you increase the time quantum, average response time will also increase. So this is the disadvantage if you increase time quantum. Okay, and if you decrease the time quantum, average response time will definitely reduce also. Okay, but in that case, what will happen? Number of contact switches will be increased. Okay, and if time quantum is large, number of contact switches will decrease. See here, how many number of contact switches has been done? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Only 5 contact switches has been done. Okay, and if 2 units for each contact switch, then 5 into 2, total 10 units will be wasted by the contact switches. And in previous example, it was 18 units. So these are some disadvantages as well as advantages of when you increase or decrease time quantum. So I think आप सभी को समझ आ गया होगा, है ना? कोई क्वेश्चन और हो किसी का? Then you can ask. समझ आया सभी को?
Yes, sir.
So इससे का जो नेक्स्ट टॉपिक है, अच्छा एक मिनट है ना, जस्ट अ सेकंड. So you can take snapshot of these lines. Okay, what you have learned from this: response time increases if time quantum increases. Okay, we have seen this, and round robin tends to become FCFS if time quantum increases. Okay, and number of contact switches decrease. I have explained all this video earlier. Okay, and now to get the better performance from the system, what should you do? The time quantum should not be too large, and also it should not be too small for optimum performance. है ना? ठीक है, ज्यादा लार्ज करेंगे अगर आप टाइम क्वांटम, तब आपका ये FCFS बनेगा. ठीक है, और अगर स्मॉल करेंगे तब भी आपके पास कंटेक्ट स्विचेस ज्यादा होंगे. ठीक है, तो आपका जो टाइम क्वांटम है ना तो बहुत ज्यादा लार्ज होना चाहिए, ना ही कम होना चाहिए. ठीक है, ऑप्टिमम सा वैल्यू हो ताकि आपके ऑप्टिमम परफॉर्मेंस हो सिस्टम की. दिस इज व्हाट हैव यू लर्न फ्रॉम दिस slide. You can take screenshot of this. Just a second. Let me reverse it. Okay. No. Next is priority scheduling. What? Time now. It is 10:45. Okay. So we will see it tomorrow, and now we will discuss the question which I have given to you for the practice. Okay, yesterday I have given a question. I think this is, can you see this? Sorry, just a second. Can you see this one now in camera? This was the question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. सभी ने किया, समझ में नहीं है ना? तो मैं यहाँ से रिप्लाई करूंगा. ठीक है, FCFS और तीनों का आपने कैलकुलेट करना था, FCFS, SGF और SIRTF. ओके, सो मैं गैंट चार्ट सिर्फ अभी सभी आपको गैंट चार्ट बताऊंगा, है ना? उसके अकॉर्डिंगली अगर वो करेक्ट हुआ तो ऑब्वियसली वेटिंग टाइम, टर्न अराउंड टाइम भी ठीक होंगे. ठीक है, तो आप मुझे बताओ FCFS आपने क्या कैलकुलेट किया था? FCFS की सीक्वेंस बताना गैंट चार्ट में. सबसे पहले कौन सी प्रोसेस शेड्यूल होगी?
P4.
You can okay, P4, right? Then
P2.
P2.
P2, right? Okay. Then
P1.
P1,
P1. Okay. Then
P naught.
P0,
right. Then
P5.
P5.
P5,
And
okay.
then
And
P3.
finally
3.
P3. Okay. And
P3.
how many times it has been done? 25 to 28. P3 is okay.
Yes,
Right?
sir.
Yes.
Sir.
Okay, so this is okay. So you have solved it correctly. Okay, this is the Gantt chart for FCFS. Okay, now for SGF, what is the schedule? Tell me. First process,
P4,
P4.
P4.
right? Then okay. Also
P1,
tell the time. Okay.
P1.
Also mention time. P4 for how many times?
0 to 8. 8.
0 to
Okay.
8.
Then
P1.
P1, 8 to 10.
8 to 10.
8 to 10.
right. Then
P3, 10 to 13.
okay. This is right. Also again. Next.
P0.
P0,
13
13
to
to
17.
17.
Right. Then
P2.
P2,
17
17
to
to
22.
22.
17 to 22.
okay.
And
Right.
P5. 22
P5,
to 28.
P5.
Okay, this is also right. Okay, this is also right. Okay, and now last is SRTF. Tell its sequence. First process,
P4, 0 to 1.
right?
P2, 1 to 2.
Okay, right.
P1, 2 to 4.
1 to 2, 4.
Okay, this is okay, correct. This is also correct. Then
P2, 4 to 8.
this is correct. Then
P3, 8 to 11.
correct. Then
P0, 11 to 15.
right. Pin not
P5,
11 to
15
15.
to
This is
21.
correct.
P5, 15 to
Okay,
20.
correct. Then
P4, 21 to 28.
28.
okay, this is also correct. Okay, so
Yes.
okay. So this is correct. Okay, I will also share these Gantt charts through the link. Okay, in your WhatsApp group. Okay, so अगर किसी ने नहीं सॉल्व किया होगा तो यहाँ से इसका चार्ट देख लेना सभी ने ना, और इसके अकॉर्डिंगली वेटिंग टाइम वगैरह आप कैलकुलेट कर सकते हैं. ठीक है, जो आपका SRTF था इसमें एक प्रॉब्लम आई होगी आपको. ठीक है, अगर जिसको किसी को ये गलत लग रहा होगा तो गलत लगेगा आपको जब P1 और P2 का शेड्यूल हुआ होगा, या P2 के बाद P3, सॉरी P2 और P3 के बीच में, है ना. देखो P2 जब रन हुई थी तो इसका 4 था रिमेनिंग टाइम और P3 का 3 था उस टाइम, है ना. ठीक है, तो P2 देखो 1 यूनिट के बाद उसका भी 3 रहा होगा उस टाइम, है ना. तो दोनों प्रोसेसेस का 3 था. तो जब अगर सेम मतलब कॉन्सेप्ट क्या है, देखो अगर ऐसी प्रोसेसेस हो जब सेम आपके पास रनिंग टाइम हो, उस केस में टाई ब्रेक होगी अकॉर्डिंग टू द लोअर आईडी. Okay, so the process which will have lower ID will be scheduled first. Okay, so this will happen in case of SRTF. अगर आप इसको सॉल्व करेंगे SRTF को, तो कोई केस ऐसा आएगा जब दोनों प्रोसेसेस के जो वर्स्ट टाइम होंगे वो सेम होंगे. उस केस में टाइम ब्रेक करने के लिए जो लोअर प्रायोरिटी प्रोसेस है या फिर जो प्रोसेस पहले अराइव होगी, ठीक है, तो उसी को आप रन करोगे वहां पर. ठीक है, सो दिस इज फॉर टुडे. ओके, नाउ वी विल discuss next algorithm priority scheduling in the next lecture. Okay, so bye everyone, take care. Thank you for
Thank you,
your time.
sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, bye.